So, the New York Magazine interview with Donald Trump that was published this week, conducted, of course, by reporter Ben Terrace for the publication, had a lot of crazy moments in it. But nothing was crazier than when Donald Trump not only blamed his doctors for causing the public outrage about his failing health, but at one point forced one of these doctors to lie to Ben Terrace and tell him that Trump is healthier than Barack Obama ever was, in a moment that kind of felt like they had a gun to his head, and if he said the wrong thing, it would be the last thing he ever said. But let's start at the beginning. Terrace wanted to know about Donald Trump's health. So Trump was flanked by two doctors, Dr. James Jones and, of course, Dr. Sean Barbarella, the White House physician, the one who goes out there and lies every time Trump has any issue. So you got these two doctors right there. And Trump first claimed he doesn't know these guys at all, which seems like a symptom if you're like, these are the doctors that have been treating me for a full year. I don't know these guys. Who are these people? That seems like a pretty big red flag waving right in your face right there. In fact, those doctors at that point should have said, oh boy, we're going to have to up your meds. But they didn't, because they don't want people to know how bad he really is. But here's how it went down. Trump said, these are two doctors, and by the way, I don't know them. They're not my best friends. They're respected doctors that practice out of Walter Reed, and they happen to be taking care of me for anything, but I don't need any taking care of because I'm in perfect health. I do purposely every year or less a physical because I think the American people should know that the president is healthy, so you don't get a guy like the last one who was the worst thing that ever happened to older people. What? He's the worst thing that ever happened to older people. Okay, at least we've narrowed it down. Like Biden was good for everybody, what, under 65? Under 40? Like, you got to specify an age range there, buddy. If you're going to say he was only bad for older people, I need to know where that cutoff is. Because I know people in their 90s that are 100%. Gary Player is 90 years old. He shot 70 with me the other day. Trump then threatened to sue the ass off New York Magazine if they wrote a bad story about his health. So Terrace jumps in and he's like, okay, listen, can I just ask about the MRI? And Trump said, it was the worst fucking thing I ever did, and I blame them. They wanted me to take it. And because I took it, people want to say, oh, there must be something wrong. Can you explain why you asked me that? Stupidest thing I've ever done. So then Jones, Dr. Jones, jumps in and he says, after shuffling through papers, he said, we did a computerized tomography exam of his chest and his abdomen. It's MRI-like. And then Trump said the reason they even did it is because it's because the machine was sitting there. I'm sitting right next to it. Then Dr. Sean Barbarella jumps in and he says there was no evidence of narrowing of any blood vessels and no abnormalities of the heart. And then Jones comes back and says the reason for the imaging, as routine as we stated, is that any patient his age could have things and we ruled them out. The story should be about the fact that the results were perfect. And he did hesitate. He's like, the results were perfect. They did not demonstrate any problems. And then Barbarella muttered almost to himself, excellent results. They were excellent results. And then Trump, who just a moment ago was like, I don't know these guys, said, I love these two guys. They're great, but I don't know them. They're White House doctors. These guys are awesome. These are my best buds. I love them so much. Who are these people? Why are you in my room? Yep, that sounds like a symptom. That sounds like a symptom right in front of your doctors who did nothing. I don't know you, but I love you. You're like a drunk guy at the bar. Or a dementia patient. And no, as every other doctor has said, we don't do MRIs as preventative measures. We do MRIs when we're looking for a problem that explains what we're witnessing outside of the MRI. And then shit got weird. I'm just going to read you this because I want to do it full justice. I don't want to paraphrase. I want to read this. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt then broke in and asked Dr. Jones whether he had worked for the Obamas, and he agreed. And Terrace asked, which president was healthier? Trump, at nearly 80 years old and reputed to abstain from vegetables, or Barack Obama, who had been 55 at the end of his second term and famously a fitness fanatic? Trump stared across the desk, making eye contact with Jones. Jones didn't hesitate. President Trump, Jones said. Trump nodded. There was no sign of a smile, as if there could have been any other answer to that question. Write that, he said, turning to me, Ben Terrace. That sounds like a hostage situation. Like Dr. Barbarella, absolute quack, just horrible guy who's lying on behalf of Trump. Jones sounds coerced. Like, that's what I got out of that. Like, Caroline Leavitt, like, nudging him from the back, like, come on, you worked for both of them. Who was healthier? Come on, say it. Say the line. And then he says it with Trump staring right at him, and Trump looks at the reporter and goes, write that down. Yeah, that guy needs to blink twice if he's in danger, because I kind of feel like he is. But also, lying like that, you still should lose your medical license, unless you can prove that there was, in fact, serious coercion in writing or otherwise. You should lose your medical license forever. Because you're also clearly a quack if you're going to sit there and try to convince people that Trump is healthier than Obama. That's just absolute gaslighting at its finest. And people should lose their licenses because of it. But this is insane. Nothing like this ever happened during the Biden administration, when we're still told to this day, there was a cover-up of his health. There wasn't a cover-up, they just didn't talk about it. This is an active cover-up going through the entire administration, up to and including the doctors themselves being forced to lie to reporters. That is a cover-up. And the sooner the press gets that into their heads and starts reporting on it on a regular basis, the better. Because these two scenarios between Biden's cognitive decline, which existed, and I talked about plenty during those years, and the mental decay that Trump is suffering from, are not even closely related. Trump is infinitely worse than anything we saw with Biden. His decline is far more intense and rapid than anything we saw with Biden. It took till Biden's fourth year for it to become fully noticeable to the public. Trump managed to do it in a matter of months. And we still got 3 years of this to go. Thanks for watching, and if you are not already subscribed to the channel, please do so, and do not forget to like and comment and share widely among your friends.